for work. We had needed to connect anyway, so that's good. Of course, we have our call later, but there it goes. Start recording. What are you up to?
Not too much. I've been doing some of the electrical research that I was talking to you about. That's been kind of fun. Um, Obviously, I got the farm truck I've been repairing, so that's kept me pretty busy.
Ah, well, it's been a while since the audience was able to hear your thoughts. So feel free to interject about any of your latest research or whatever. I will tell the audience that my newest paper is nearly complete. It is the dankest, most bare teeth, no holds barred black pill product around. Top secret documents, direct pictures of chemtrails, the origins of chemtrails, um, COVID, biolabs, Dr. Malone's patents, all that stuff is in the paper. And all resources is one bibliography that a certain group of people who love getting truth and spreading truth and irritating normies who don't want to open their freaking eyes are going to love to have. It's my second black pill product, obviously. Well, everything I post, I try to stick with the truth, but specifically when I say black pill, I mean conspiracy truther stuff. I'd say this is harder hitting than the winning the new Cold War, just because the subject here is more core to some of my passions, which is the peer review cult, the obfuscation of science, the history of funding, crap science, keeping all of us, in the dark about what's really going on. So a lot of tables that show direct connections. I talk about the fact check triangle. I show the biases of those and the companies that are behind them. And I talk about military contracts. So hopefully that will be basically done today, and we'll step through the process and it get published by Thursday on Academia. That's what I've been into, that and writing Batman and playing games and just, trying to stay alive in these crazy times.
Yeah, that's understandable. I know right now keeping your own sanity is probably one of the the hardest parts to all of this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, I would say. I was seeing this morning that I was listening to the Supreme Court confirmation, and this woman is completely unqualified on account of the fact that she likes child pornography. So right away, I don't like her. I don't like her smug face, and I'm tired of playing nice. To be honest with you, I just don't. I don't care anymore about the politically correct issue. Oh, you can't attack her. The Republicans want to go at this not like Brett Kavanaugh. They want to be clean, and it's too late for that. It's time to dig deep, punch him in the gut. She's got to go. She shouldn't even be a judge, let alone Supreme Court judge. She's a condoner of child pornography. So, it's high time that people get mean, they get angry, and they get truthful. Because otherwise, it's all just going to go down in a burning flame. What's funny is I was thinking about writing an ancient aliens story where heaven and the old guard battled the new aliens. Obviously, I don't believe in the ancient alien architect theory because I've already shown its planets. But I think it would be a fun story if Inky and the old guard came back and were like, "What the hell is going on?" and found out that these other aliens were commandeering the planet. Heaven opens up, and all the weird shapes of the angels, cherubims, seraphim turn out to be basically cyborg weapon suits. And yeah, I think it would be a fun science fiction film, paper or story, whatever. But I don't have time to devote to it, unfortunately. So, tell us a little bit more about your electrical research that you've been doing. And did you get a chance to look at that Skyborg engine? And if so, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I have not. I was washing the pan, getting ready to make some breakfast. Didn't want to deafen everyone. Um, no, tell me more about the Skyborg. Um,
I don't honestly know anything about it. It's a 1920s engine technology. It can do revs, and you'd like engineer. I don't know his real name yet, and I want to get him on the show. But it can go down to 30 RPMs or up to 30,000 RPMs, and it can get about anywhere from 50 to 100 times the miles per gallon, depending on the use and utility. You can make small ones for like lawnmowers and weed eaters, or you can make large ones for diesel trucks and all that. And he's wanting to make them. He's wanting to make nuclear ready and steam ready. The man's a genius. So he's just like you. I had a great talk with him, and I look forward to spending more time talking to him.
I did look at that engine. So if I remember correctly, it's based off of I can't remember that guy's name. It's essentially like a boxer engine, which is an extremely efficient engine. The things will run forever, like underwater, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the boxer engines are based off of like one piston going at 180 degrees of the other, and then everything is offset to the point to where when you push the piston in one direction, it primes the other piston, and it'll go back and forth, but the gear ratios and everything else offset. So there's a gentleman that will put magnets on either end of it, so that you have a magnet on the piston, you've got a magnet on the top of the head, essentially, and it will rotate to create a repelling force, like as it's approaching the top of the head, and then it will repel it backwards in the other direction. If I remember correctly, the link that you sent me was a very similar to design to that. And if they're able to miniaturize it or introduce petroleum products and stuff like that to it as well, I think it would be amazing, an amazing product.
Oh yeah, he's already basically doing that. It's now at the stage of finding the investors and deciding the strategy. In order to avoid being water card or any kind of other innovation, that gets suppressed by the agenda. I'm not going to say it's aliens. I'm not going to say it's the Democrats specifically. I think that they just work for whoever. I'm not going to say it's Israelis. All right, I'm just going to say that there's an agenda to suppress our advancement as a species and our advancement as a culture, and to turn us into depraved satanic lunatics. Right? That's the facts, people. I mean, whatever you want to believe, take it on your own. I do believe that definitely there are a wide berth of people that got to die, but that's, I'm keeping that mum as to who exactly I think needs to go. I will say unabashedly pedophiles. But anyways, this technology appears to have been suppressed, much in the same way that the Byfield Brown effect was suppressed. Now that, we think, ended up in the Stealth B2 technology, and the Secret Space Force ended up in the that triangle flying saucer that they have, and now they're trying to justify massive new World War III contracts. And I'm sure that they want to manufacture all this stuff now that the Space Force is an official force they've been developing for long enough. Who knows what they can do? If the Russians, who are basically technologically broke, if they have hypersonics and they're telling everybody, oh, we'll hypersonic tactically strike Ukraine at any moment, imagine what the U.S. military empire could do. So I would presume that this technology has been looked at and compartmentalized somewhere in the Department of Energy, because most of the labs that I was, sourcing yesterday are controlled by the Department of Energy. And so, oh, hey, buddy. So I
Hey,
would
guys.
say that that's where it comes from. It's interesting that you mentioned the 180-degree geometry of this Skyborg engine, or the Boxer engine, as you're calling it. I find that really fascinating, because if it's combined with electromagnetism, it would seem to me that a small amount of fuel could be used to just to provide the spark for the electricity to turn those magnets, and then the magnets just rotating as they flip back and forth, because the RPMs are so high, would provide a lot of energy saving to the piston motion. That's what that would seem to me like an immediate improvement, if there is any improvement is needed to be made. I assume that there's always an improvement until you can go faster than light. So what do you think of that concept of using the electromagnetics to extend the efficiency of the engine?
I think it's spot on. One of the big problems that kind of touching onto my research, I've been looking at all the different examples of I guess magnetic generators, magnetic motors, and all of these other things. And to me, it appears that you're always trying to use mechanical motion in order to create a flux with magnets and coils. And as long as you're dependent on mechanical motion, you're going to have the inefficiencies of the mechanical system. So, as an example, like I think over Unity engines and stuff like that are most definitely plausible. I don't believe in perpetual motion or anything. I believe there's an etheric field that's around us that we can tap into, and we can use that even if we aren't aware of where exactly it's all coming from. It's still there. It's still coming from somewhere, and there's no such thing as free anything. Like you're having to influence or whatever. But what I was looking into is the mechanical inefficiencies. So you've got the bearings, you got the frictions, you got vibrational loss, and then you've got the torque that goes onto the generator has to like equal the potential that's coming out. It just has to. Like I think over Unity will come from a different perspective. So you've got material advantage, you've got mechanical advantage, you've got like the physical, like the innate physical properties of the device, and then you've got the what we're currently losing. So flyback EMF and stuff of that nature is an extremely large loss in the whole system. And so one of the models that I was looking at recently was your ram pump for pumping water uphill using the flow of water to create extremely high pressure. When it rams shut, it creates that pressure spike, which is ultimately what ends up pumping the water uphill. So in the electrical equivalent, you've got the etheric field that's all around us, and if you suddenly close a load, then you cause the back EMF. And that's actually what causes your the electrical meter on your house to go up, is not the electricity that's going through the circuit so much as the back EMF that causes your meter to move in one direction or the other. You put additional load, additional strain on the system, and all of the transformers, all of the motors and everything else are designed with that fatal flaw to conform with the inefficiencies of the system as a whole. So I think going back towards the petroleum side of the engine and the Boxer engine and everything, I think we're lucky to have petroleum here on Earth, and it's a abundant source of cheap energy that we've researched for a very long time, and we most definitely need to be increasing our petroleum usage instead of decreasing, because petroleum is
Correct.
the second most abundant fluid on
Correct.
the
And
planet.
then and here's another point. We can use petroleum about a dozen times more efficiently than we could even 30 years ago. There are byproducts that we can get out of the refining process that we couldn't do before. And another guy who engineer is associated with, who works for him, made the point that you don't even need a catalytic converter anymore. It's becoming that clean when it's burned. So the free market has generated extremely efficient engines, but the engine types are just old. The V-type engine, straight line, they're all wrong in terms of their configure. They're as Buddy would say, their geometric configuration as to how that they're actually achieving conversion of all of that mechanical power caused by chemical combustion, and they're not turning that into a thorough use. So we could extend the amount of time that we have the petroleum. Plus, it may appear that the Earth might be actually manufacturing. So if we could use less as a total product for all of humanity, while using more, then but it's less than how much the Earth produces, then we could make it a renewable resource forever. And I'm not even advocating, because of course I'm a big fan of true green energies, like you mentioned, etheric, etc. My concern is, getting beyond the purely mechanical. But I know that right now the technology that we're stuck at, it's going to be limited in terms of the materials, the various metals. I think one of the big issues is that we've got to get perfect control of magnetism. And right now we don't have that. A lot of people they think that, for example, transformers, if they even think about them, I think they're pretty good. Actually, transformers are incredibly dangerous and inefficient. They get very hot, sometimes explode. Thankfully, they're up on telephone wires. But we lose a lot of energy in our EM systems through uncontrolled magnetics, because it doesn't really flow, and so it doesn't just stay inside of the metal housing. So there's a whole lot of work still, and that's one of the areas that is getting the most focus. And they're shaping magnetic fields in ways that they've not done before, and they've now got really incredibly powerful magnets that are just unbelievable in their power. The kind of you worry will, destroy the nation. You turn it on, and so we're getting more powerful in that direction. I wonder what can be done, for creating some, I guess, mid-stage between this paradigm we live in and the next paradigm. For example, vehicles, home generators, things that can utilize some of these technologies that are with enhancements that, because we have made some advancements in the last 100 years, so that these engines can be utilized for a stopgap in between now and when we are a stage 2 society, which could take a while at the present rate of everybody losing their minds and rationalism. But anyways, that's been my thought. Now, Buddy has brought up that he has booked the 2022 EU conference. I think that he's chosen Detroit to host his first conference up there. I know that you and I want to hold an EPMC conference down here, hopefully Elizabethtown, maybe Lexington. And so I thought it'd be a good chance for the two of you to talk, and all of us. I got to go in, and I'm going to bring the phone in, but to talk about some of the lineup we want to have at this conference, because apparently it has a limited window. So, Buddy, why don't you take it away and tell us all about the event?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got to put my headphones on. It might be a little transition here because I can't really,
Okay,
I can't really hear
fine.
too well.
maybe Aaron, you can give a response to the last rant I went on there. But you are muted still, just so you know.
No worries. Yeah, just a quick point on that. I was just going to comment that we have existing systems, we have existing motors and stuff like that. While they're not terribly efficient, I think there's too much focus that goes on the efficiency of the motors and the systems. Like we already have complete permeability of petroleum market, like extremely efficient diesel motors. I mean, some of the older like diesel and gasoline powered water pumps and stuff like that used on farms and stuff. They're amazing devices, large flywheels, which was how they were taking advantage of the inefficiencies. Is they would run a giant flywheel and then they wouldn't have to run the motor full time. They would just run an extremely powerful motor to run these big wheels, and then that would take care of some of the inefficiencies. But I think there's too much focus that goes on this this fake BS, like save the world, environmentally friendly like BS. When in reality, we need to be increasing the petroleum usage because it's extremely cheap energy that's readily available to everyone, and realize that the carbon is the rare commodity here. So as the plants and everything ramp up, we're gonna hit an environmental algal bloom to where the plants are growing very quickly right now. Everyone's planting new trees and stuff, and you've got the reforestation of the rainforest. I mean, in some aspects, but the crux of the whole situation is the plants and everything are creating like we can create ethanol and stuff from plants and from trees, and we can create plastics from your yard clippings. I mean, the stuff that we're able to do is amazing, as long as we have an abundance of energy and potential. And people need to focus more on the fact that when you have a combustion engine, the primary byproducts is carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide if it's an inefficient motor, and then water. Those are your big the big things that you need to worry about. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide are both extremely efficiently used by plants and by biological systems. So if you look at the other side of that equation, fuels, petroleum products, stuff like that, they're extremely toxic, extremely carcinogenic. So wouldn't it make more sense for the entire equation if we're taking an extremely toxic substance and we're creating a life-giving, like a biological substance that we can then take into like our, I guess, general systems. Another example, I'm a pretty big proponent on actually becoming interstellar, going into space and stuff of that nature. But SpaceX should also realize that we need an abundance of carbon dioxide, especially when it comes to terraforming different planets and moons and stuff like that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to create a carbonic acid, carbonized water that you can then transport with not much increase in weight or mass or anything of that nature. It can all be in one storage vessel, and then the people on like on spacecraft or on remote settlements or whatever, they can convert that back into carbon dioxide for their greenhouses, which is going to use the carbon faster than what they're going to use the water. The plant reaction, I think it's the Krebs cycle. I think it actually, or the photosynthesis and all of that, it uses more carbon than it does water when the plants are doing that. And plants are very resilient in their water conservation. I mean, some of them will actually perspire water, like kind of like we do. But for the most part, the carbon dioxide is going to be the the limiting factor to those systems. And so we need to be burning more fuel and then have some efficient CO2 sequestering methods of confining CO2 into storage mediums for use in other areas. So maybe we can, instead of letting it just drift around in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere being our big capacitor, our big battery of carbon dioxide, we need to have, I guess, city or like sequestering in every city or something of that nature, to where we can store it into like a carbonic acid and then released into greenhouses or released onto the farms or something in the springtime, so that as everything is coming around and blooming, that CO2 can be released back into the environment. But that was just my we can hear about the conference, because like you said, I'm really much wanting to have the electrical convention and stuff out here in Elizabethtown or Lexington or Louisville. It doesn't matter to me, just someplace close.
Buddy, if you're there to take it away, and he'd like to hear about your plans for the Michigan conference.
For sure. Well, I guess I'll start with saying that I went to the 2017 Electric Universe Conference, or Thunderbolts Conference. And I was drawn there specifically just to talk to Donald Scott, because he happened, I saw a video, and I've been drawing this specific, incredibly intricate geometry for like 10 plus years at that point. And I saw a video of him do it, talk about what it is that I'm doing. So I went directly out there. Long story short, we realized, us young bucks realized while we were there that this is an old organization, and it's all old people that were there, and we were the next generation. We looked at each other and we realized, holy shit, we are going to take this over. These people are all like, there's hardly any young people there. The only young people there that were us. We're like, holy crap. Not that we're going to take it over. It's more like we are the next generation of this. So that came to a large self-realization with me, Heather, and Neil, and Robert Hawthorne, and just a bunch of people. And we just kept taking breaks, going out and smoking weed and coming in, and all the adults were just like bad, just looking at us like we're horrible people because we smoke weed. But anyway, so the gist of it is, we started informing them of our ideas immediately, and I'm like, we need to have a dance. Let's have a ball. Let's have music and a dance at the last night. So we immediately started rearranging stuff, and we ended up having a dance. We ended up having people win different prizes. So we made it a lot more engaging than just sitting down and having a dinner, or there was a bunch of fun stuff we added to it. So
sure.
So now fast forward to 2022, COVID happened. They took the Thunderbolts project overseas. Who knows if it's ever going to come back? We need to make this happen, and we need to make it happen with a younger audience. Not only a younger audience, but gathering the attention of the older audience as well, and some of the greatest speakers and presenters and the people who actually came up with some of these theories. So I've been vending for years, and I have this really awesome vending spot. It's a 5-stage. They have 5 different stages. They have a ballroom. They have an artist gallery. They have a music room. They have outdoor concert. It's a total grungy place. I mean, the bathrooms, there's stickers on every inch of the bathroom. and graffiti, which is great because this generation of kids, I didn't think it was great at first, but I proposed that to Ramon, and he's like, no, that's great. Yeah, because right now, actually, what's happening is the children, my kid and our generation below us is actually going through the Kurt Cobain grunge phase. So that's really popular, actually. And also, like, you don't want to always like try to look clean necessarily. I mean, this is a dirty subject, you know. Electricity, it kills stuff. And all that shit aside, I got the day, I got the time, and it's August 14th. It's an all-day, all-night event. 2 o'clock. It starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm thinking we would start earlier than that, you know, and have like a big breakfast somewhere, or have like a different room where we could meet up and congregate. Maybe even also the day before, because I couldn't get a Saturday nailed down. I could only get a Sunday. I could have got other days during the week, but I think that would have been even stupider. So yeah, got a lot of people interested. A lot of people already. I want cymatic artists. I want you know, so you can see Cymatic Experiments right there. You can see their artwork. You can buy their artwork. There's going to be vendors, entertainers, musicians. I haven't really put together if there's going to be catering, if that's going to be included in the ticket, things like that. I have food trucks and food people available to vend already, and musicians, and I might do a few songs myself.
All right. So what's the theme, or what's the major motivation? Why should people come to this conference, and what are we gonna who are we gonna have talk? What are we gonna talk about, etc. You know.
Okay, so I don't know the main theme yet. I don't necessarily think we have to name it the futurist concert, or like the future of science, or, you know, like we could, and that would probably help people dial it in.
It is the tradition of at least the Electric Universe people,
Thunderbolts.
From the Thunderbolts project. I mean, when I say Electric Universe, I mean, you know, they're copyrighted, or, you know, their organizations, etc. But yeah, traditionally they have a theme. For those who in the audience who've never been over to Thunderbolts project site, and they don't know, they've had very good conferences. In fact, I have in this paper, which is shared on the screen, gone through, and this is the U2015 conference. So whatever Michael Shermer is implying in his little hit piece, the fact is these were doctors. There was one guy from Harvard, you know, eminent psychologists. The only unqualified person to be speaking there was Ben Davidson. So the rest of the lineup is doctors after, you know, writers, and I mean,
well, you know how we feel about doctors. Just to interrupt real quick there. I mean, they're not always.
Well, but still, still, for the type of conference that they were going for,
yeah,
the slander that they were, you know, like a cesspool of crankpots or something like that is unwarranted. These are alt-stream thinking, but scientific thinking individuals, and that they have a long history of doing that. But they would always put a theme to, and then David and Walt would speak, and they would set a theme to the conference. So I think that we should have a theme, but of course we're, you know, going to do it our own way. I know down in Kentucky, the kind of conference we want to hold is we want to have a very hands-on conference. A lot of people coming together to bringing their kids and getting into experiments and experiencing electricity and mechanics firsthand.
Yep, I'm gearing towards that as much as well. as far as I've already contacted Chris Burke out of California, who does the best plasma lamps I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how portable a lot of his stuff is, and I don't even know if he'd be able to come. But I'm trying to get glass blowers who blow plasma tubes, so we can have plasma tubes all around glowing, and vendors and blacklight vendors, and yeah, as much hands-on as possible. I agree.
We've got a lot of glass blowers here in Kentucky. So the Berea College, they have like a whole glass showroom, if you will. It's not like the Corning Art of Glass or whatever, but there's a lot of glass blowers here in Kentucky. In fact, just my old hometown, there in Berea, there's a glass blower that they've got a pretty nice showroom and everything. Glass to look out in the hot room so that you can, or the hot shop, so that you can actually see people blowing glass as they're doing classes and stuff.
I like the idea of blowing glass, but I'm only necessarily saying that only because of people who blow glass for plasma tubes. There's a shit ton of glass blowers around here, but if you can combine the two, it's a science, and then you can have them come and show off some stuff.
Yeah, I was saying more or less, like, for Ramon and our sake, that we can perhaps get them to do a large installation or something down here. And if they dream something up that's really cool, then maybe or vice versa. So your guys's could do something, and then we can replicate it down here, and then that could very well set a theme or some kind of consistency between events and stuff like that.
That's a great idea. That's freaking genius. I love that.
I love.
Well, genius is what we do around here.
Even if it's an installation that we build here and it's geared towards Electric Universe concept, and we can take it down and bring it there or rebuild it there, that would be a reoccurring theme of something that's part of our whole ensemble. Like, for instance, my friend does Frick Frack Blackjack, and it's a whole ensemble. You have to set up this whole entire thing. But once and he's doing it on the East Coast chapter. So there's West Coast chapters, people doing this and running this whole thing. There's something like that in my head that's rattling around when you gave me that idea, when you gave us that idea there. But
Oh, what else? So who do you want to? I assume you want me to speak, which I'd be happy to, and I can do any keynote that has to do with. It could be the archaeological end. I could do the thunderbolts and the electrogeology, or I could do the how we know the Earth flipped over, and I could do the entire Jovian Octagon. That presentation had. Because that conference didn't happen because of COVID, that presentation just sits there. It has not been used. So I could do that. I could do arthurology. I could do whatever you need to fit the theme of your conference.
Right. Yeah, and you're right. It's only a day, so I have to really kind of nail in on a theme. But at the same time, if all day everybody's learning about the same damn theme, you know, I think it's good to have a interdisciplinary approach to it as well. Like, look, this is affecting biology this way. This is affecting physics this way. This is affecting geometry this way. Maybe the whole concept is interdisciplinary electric universe. How interdisciplinary is the electric universe? Something along those lines, where we have a mathematician come up, then we have a cymaticist come up, then we do, there's experiments happening the whole time around us. And then later on, the vendors and experimentalists hang out. We're probably gonna have to we don't want speakers all the way all night. I'm sure people are going to be exhausted. So I'm planning on doing like a musicians and a dance, and the bar is going to be open the entire time from 2 till 2. So I mean, it's going to be a lot different than the Thunderbolts project. We're going to be able to smoke weed in the back room, drink alcohol, be grungy, do whatever, fucking invite younger kids, invite older kids. I'm thinking all ages because there's nothing inappropriate about it. And then they do the wristbands for anyone 18 and under. But yeah, it's cool because we have a bar this time around. People
Well,
can
that'll certainly spice things up, won't it?
for sure. Versus people drinking and sipping out of their pockets and in their rooms. I gotta go back to my room. Remember how? Oh, you weren't. Did you go to this 2017? I don't think you did. Ramon?
No, I didn't go. I kind of wish I had, but I hadn't really thought that they were all about to, retire or pass on. So
Be the end of it, all things because of COVID, and all of a sudden nothing's happening anymore.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't really see that coming. And so the year I wanted to go, they did it in England.
I know, me too. The next year, I was gonna go still.
I think
Go ahead.
so. From thinking about what Ramon and I were wanting to do, there used to be really amazing conventions and stuff like that here in Kentucky, in which they would showcase a lot of patriotic like businesses and inventors and stuff like that. People who were actually, I guess, leading the way. I would love to bring that kind of thing back into the whole equation. So you've got kind of your Renaissance festival to where everyone's like dressing up in like the old times and stuff like that.
Shit,
Yeah,
dude! I think you're onto something. Keep going.
but then you've got the revolution that everyone is like been waiting for. So you've kind of got this period. I maybe what's it called, like steampunk kind of thing, to where we've got some really amazing technology, we've got amazing inventors and stuff like that, but yet we're still stuck in, like, there's not been significant change from the 50s to now. In all honesty, I mean, gotten
Getting a lot of background noise. I don't know where that's coming from, but
Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'm out of here. All right, there we go.
There's a lot of I guess, besides being able to carry a telephone with you, or the worldwide internet or something of that nature, we're still using a lot of the same technologies in which were pioneered in like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not to discount the phone or the internet or anything, they're amazing. They're very destructive as well in their own ways, but I think we're getting to that point to where we need to almost incentivize the inventors and I guess a lot of the people who end up being LARPers as well. But we need to incentivize them to come out, to hang out, to share their inventions and stuff like that, without feeling like someone's going to copy it or rip it off or something. Like, this is the point in which they need to be able to brag about everything in which they've done and inspire other people to try to recreate it or something of that nature. If they feel so inclined to put it in the public domain, then they could teach people how they're doing what they're doing, or where they're coming up at like a shortcoming or something of that nature. Like, I've been scratching my head on this problem for 20 years or whatever, and I can't figure out how to get it past that point. But you know, your problem is that you're doing it in your garage and you're not telling anyone about anything, and the problem is probably right under your nose.
Yeah, that's
but
why
I
they
think-
don't get any funding, because they're not showing anybody what they're doing to make it better.
Exactly. Or they try and tease the investors and say like, well, this is all proprietary, and I'm not going to tell you how I do it. It's like, well, why am I going to give you money if you're not gonna actually
Right.
give me value that you're producing? But yeah, I think there's most definitely going to be investors present. So there's going to need to be as many of the inventors and stuff like that, and they don't need to be doing this quick pitching bullshit. In all honesty, the road show of I've got this amazing technology and you need to give me money because I do this, and here's my slideshow. It just needs to be a bunch of people coming together, hanging out, like working off of each other. It'd be cool if you can blow some stuff up. I don't know if permits or whatever would be able to, or I guess the host would allow some stuff like that. Maybe when we do it out here in Kentucky, we can find a nice farmland that we can blow some stuff up electrically, not just like, strap some C4 to it and boom. Like, no, like we need like the Tesla coils and balloons full of argon, and the Tesla coil like just that starts lighting up the argon balloons or something like that. Like a light show, right?
Aaron, I always love it when you fall down a well. You know, it's just it's one of my favorite tricks you do.
So I guess to complement what you're saying there, that is actually that's what we were already planning, is to try to bring back a theme to it, like the Roaring Twenties. If you look at the flyer, it looks like a 1920s old black and white, like we're going to a ball. I mean, it is going to be a ball.
Sort of like the future of the world is, you know, the what was that conference? The old in the 1920s there, the world of tomorrow. The world of tomorrow.
Yes, exactly.
But so how do we make that tie in with the grunge aspect? Because flannel shirts and baggy jeans don't exactly tell me the world of tomorrow. But we could just be Renaissance men. It could all be Renaissance men, you know.
Most of the people that come to the Tangent all dress up every time. It's basically Halloween every weekend there. So whether they're dressing like steampunk, sometimes we have steampunk nights. Sometimes we have what's that? Anyway, yeah, it's all themed. So people would love to and will already dress up to come to this in different ways. The world of tomorrow sounds wonderful, and what I was thinking actually is something along the lines of electric futurism. The future is electric, and here's how, and you know, like, because not really many people hear this, but you got to really understand everything that we do is electric. Your car, your phone, your computer, all of our social media platforms. The best way to make money is now through electronics, through the tech companies. That's electricity. The future of cars is electric. It's already electric. The future of smoking cigarettes is electric. I'm hitting a vape right now. The future of food is electric. Everything is electric. Now, how can we prove this? I've been trying to nail this fucking horse down for a long time, and Elon Musk is literally standing there as the electric god, and he's not even saying much about electricity at all. If anything, about the future of electricity. He's really just doing it. He's not talking about this is going to be this is going to be that. Maybe he is. I mean, with BMIs, brain machine interfaces, and the future of telekinesis is electric. The future of thinking is already electric. Fuck. I mean, like, if we just really dial in the framework of the fact that everything's electric, and we prove basically it's God, like, what can people do? It's like, this is PEM. This is plasma electromagnetism. It chooses no gods. All religions choose what gods they want to call PEM, electromagnetism. It's the whole thing. You know, when you watch the Marvel comics, the highest and greatest villain and villainy is Magneto Man, whatever the fuck it is, and it's electric. You watch the latest Spider-Man, and you see Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange controlling the mirror world and everything in the universe through electricity. It's plasma and electricity and spells. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm gonna be this emphatic and excited as I'm releasing the talkers and things like that. But really, like, what is it? What is it that we're trying to do here? Elon Musk is doing it. You look at other people and they're doing it. They're taking electricity and making us able to use it and store it and harness it in many ways that we were never able to before. You know, so I do want to see somaticists. I have a lot of friends that are somaticists. I'm teaming up directly with David Schiermeyer. He's giving me a bubble somatic machine, and he's also giving me his somatic maker machine. And he's dialed in with a lot of people. He's one of the greatest scientists and electric experimentalists that I've ever seen. He's at the top of his game. He's better than any other somaticist. He does some of the weirdest, strangest experiments. So we have him on our team. You know, like, what are we going to get out of this? What is the point of all my geometry? It's BMIs, brain machine interface. But we already have the technology. We don't need to put more in our head to do it. But I understand to help people. Sometimes to help people, you can put the BMIs in. But go ahead.
No, it was the $6 million man. We have the technology.
Yeah, we have the technology. We need people to get back excited as they were when it was Tesla versus Edison. That's what I want this concert to be like. I want this to be like, I have my Tesla coil. I have my fractal brander. I can invite other people that do fractal branding, but I don't want to because that invites a liability that it's deadly. So I'll be the one doing the fractal branding and the high voltage electricity. You know, so there's going to be technology, education, and design. Oh, we should call it TED. TED Talk.
Well, I mean, you're more than welcome to set me loose about the Shamash being our original star. I prefer for my first talk to be about the Jovian octagons because that's such an important discovery. But you know, I mean, if I have a long enough talk, I might be able to fit all three: the Thunderbolts, the octagons, and the previous star. It's a pretty big fish to swallow in one go. But if you want to get in, if you want to challenge, if you want to shake the tree, I mean, we can do that. We can shake the tree.
I don't want it to be us versus Thunderbolts. I don't want it to be us versus Ben Davidson.
No, it'd be us versus everybody. It'd be us versus everybody because we'd be throwing down the gauntlet against Carlson and Hancock against Davidson. I do that in my papers all the time. So believe me, if you need us to really go grunge or punk here, I mean, we can do it.
I don't want us to be known as the bad boys, but that's not a bad image either. because
It's not in a day and age. These kids, they know things are messed up. They're gonna want
yeah,
strong.
they want the truth. They'll listen to Graham Hancock. They'll listen to all that shit and believe it. You know, they'll believe it until they meet you, and then they're like, "Holy shit!" There's people that are putting Graham Hancock and Ben Davidson in their place, and Walt Thornhill, and fucking we have the best guy in the world. I think one of the best guys in the world. See the pattern, Gareth. He puts them all in their spot. He's like, yeah, Don Scott's model's good, but blah 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 blah, and then blah blah. Look at this. You know, it's like, holy shit, we need stuff like that.
He needs to speak. Honestly, you need to somehow rope him in to be a speaker there.
Sure.
But
he's gonna speak 100% for sure.
I'm gonna jump off here.
You better tell him. Tell him.
He's already on the roster.
Okay, we'll see you, Aaron. I have to go to my clients have arrived. This has been a good show. A lot of energy, and I could feel it. I could feel the spring's thunder energy in this call. We're going to continue to talk about getting prepared for this conference. I hope that people are willing to actually physically come and not only to do the virtual, but either way, we're going to make it an event. We're going to make it our own, because the whole stagnation and just, living off of the past in America is really just a detriment to growth. It's not something the universe condones, right? If you're stagnant, you're already dying. So we're going to bring forward the science and the paradigm, and we're going to match it to what we're experiencing now, whether it's the experience itself or the thought paradigms. But the fact is, your world is plasma electromagnetic. There is no escaping from that. Even when you go camping and I want to get away from the grid, there's plasma right in your face in the campfire. So
yeah, that's a good point too. That's a great point to drill home.
Yes.
Like you're not going to get away with it. If you feel trapped, getting away from it's not going to get away from it.
No, it's a reality.
A lot of people are suicidal.
Yes, it's an energy race. More than any other war, it's an energy war. Maybe not as much as spiritual war, but one could argue that the spiritual war is an energy war. And maybe that should be the theme of our next episode, getting into the ether a little bit more again. It's quite popular subject with all our viewers and colleagues. So I guess that's where we'll head into the next discussion. I'm going to stop recording on this one.